Hello YouTube fam, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tina and I make videos on lifestyle, home, and DIY projects every single week. For today's video, we are doing some IKEA flips and I actually went to get some items for my house to organize. But then of course I saw some items that I knew that I just had to DIY and give a new life to. And they had so many cute things, so of course I had to share with you guys. All these projects came out so good and they were just so easy to do and I can't wait to show you guys because I think you guys are going to love them. But before we get into all the projects, I wanted to talk to you guys about today's video sponsor, Audible. If you're not already familiar with Audible, they are the leading provider of spoken word entertainment. They have such a huge selection of audiobooks to choose from. So personally, I love fiction books, but they have bestsellers as well as memoirs and business books. They have such a wide selection of audiobooks that you can choose from. And recently they launched a new plan, Audible Plus, where you can choose originals as well as podcasts to listen to. You can download and stream podcasts and audiobooks without any limits, and you can listen offline anytime, anywhere by downloading the app on your smartphone or tablet. And this is so great as a DIYer because I really love listening to them as I'm working on projects. It makes the time go by so much faster, and this month I'm actually listening to Little Women. I absolutely love that movie, but growing up I didn't actually read the book, so I'm so happy that I'm able to go back and actually listen to it. Laura Dern is actually the narrator of the audiobook and I love her so much. Her voice is so soothing and it's been such an enjoyable experience for me. If you're interested in trying out Audible for yourself, make sure that you visit audible.com/TinaLay or text my name Tina Lay to 500 to get a free trial for 30 days. And by the way, that is how you pronounce my last name, Lay. Now let's go ahead and jump into the first project. Hello from VoiceOver Tina. For this project, I'm using a gold frame mirror, and this actually comes in a set of 2. And if you caught my entryway makeover, you probably saw that I used the larger mirror on a shelf and I saved this one to use for a DIY. The first thing I'm going to do is to remove the mirror by lifting up the metal pieces. This was pretty easy to do, but I will note that the smaller pieces in the middle were a lot stronger, so with the help of a screwdriver I was able to remove it. Then I'm just popping out the mirror from the frame, and I'm also going to remove this rubber piece that it's encased in. So for this project, I'm using a piece of cane webbing that I had left over, so I'm placing my mirror on top and I'm just going to trace the outline. I will link below where you can find caning online, but I got mine locally at the cane and basket supply store here in LA. The piece that I have is a pretty tight weave, making it perfect for this project. Then I'm cutting out the cane with a pair of scissors, and I actually cut it a little bit larger than the shape of the hexagon. I was afraid that it wouldn't fit, and cutting it larger is a lot easier to cut down than to waste a whole piece if it was too small. Before actually gluing it into the frame, I placed it inside just to make sure that it would fit, and luckily it fit just fine. And since I made it a bit larger, it bowed out a little, which I actually really liked, so I kept it as is, but if you want it to lay flat, you can totally cut it down to the exact size. With some Gorilla Hot Glue, I'm dotting the glue right into the frame, and this worked pretty perfectly to adhere the cane to the metal, and I did this one side at a time and held down each corner as it dried. And if you want to change up the color of the frame, make sure that you do it before gluing in the cane. I think this would look so good with a coat of spray paint in black, sage green, or even a light pink, and it would give it a completely new look. After that dried, I removed some of the extra metal on the back since it peeks through the caning in the front. This frame can be hung or used as a stand, so depending on how you want it to work, you can remove the pieces that you don't need. And all I did was just bend the metal back and forth and it came off pretty easily. I would actually recommend to do this before you add in the cane, but I didn't realize how much you could see it until after the fact, so that's why you see that I'm doing it here. Also, I want to note that I actually ended up sanding this down off of camera, and this was just a great way to smooth everything down, especially since it was really rough. If you wanted to use it hanging, I would also suggest to add some small hooks or little pegs for additional storage for bracelets and necklaces, but I'm using mine as a stand on a night table, so I'm just adding on the back part and it's all done. This IKEA flip came out so good. I love that the project can be customized to use at a tabletop or hung up to store your accessories, and you don't even need to take the backs off of your earrings to use this holder. It will fit right through the webbing of the cane, so that just makes it so much easier. I think it's so cute, but it's also functional, and I'm just obsessed with the end result. For this project, I'm using a vase from IKEA, and it's usually $7.99, but when I was there, it was on sale for only $1.99. It was such a steal, and I knew I could make it fit in with my home decor with a quick color change. First, I'm sanding it to roughen up the surface, and I used 80 grit sandpaper. Next, I'm using this terracotta spray paint by Rustoleum. I first saw Drew from Lone Fox using this spray paint, and when I saw that it was back in stock, I knew I had to grab it. I took the vase outside and I sprayed it with 2 coats of this color, and I found that the spray paint had great coverage even with just 1 coat. Since the middle of the vase is so round, I flipped it over and I sprayed it on with a 2nd coat, ensuring to cover the parts that I missed in the first round. So here's how the vase is looking after it's dried down. I think it looks absolutely amazing, and you could totally stop here, but I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle. So I'm using these little stars and moons, and they are actually nail embellishments, but I had so many that I wanted to use them for this project. They're so cute and I just really love how they look. To adhere them, I'm using tweezers and Mod Podge in a matte finish. At first, I was actually using my tweezers and I was dipping it into the glue and then putting it onto the vase, but then I discovered an easier way, so I just painted it onto the vase first and then put the embellishment right on top. And what's super nice about using a glue like this is that it gives you some time to move the piece around before you press it down exactly where you want it. And you'll notice that I'm adding them in an alternating pattern, but you could definitely do whatever you'd like with this part. This IKEA vase got a major upgrade, and I absolutely love how the gold stars and moons look against the rich terracotta color. Sometimes all you need is a little paint to make a big difference, and this spray paint really gives it a terracotta texture and finish, and I'm so excited to use it in future projects. For this next project, I picked up a bamboo bowl and a gold plant pot from IKEA. First, I'm sanding the gold pot to prep it for painting, and I'm just using a low grit sandpaper to rough up the surface. Then I'm using fabric paint, aka puffy paint, to paint on my design, and I'm going to create little dots and then short lines for this design, and this was actually inspired by one of the plant pots that I've had for a while now. You guys seem to love this pot, and it's actually from Michaels, but they don't sell it anymore. This design is super simple, so I thought I would show you guys how you can DIY it. This is actually the first time that I tried out this technique. I picked up some puffy paint a while ago, and I wanted to try out that same technique that I did with my constellation pumpkin that I created for Halloween, and I wanted to see if this would be easier than drawing on with a hot glue gun, and luckily my friend DIY Dahlia actually tried this recently in one of her videos, and it turned out great. I found that using the fabric paint allows you to draw smoother lines for this embossed effect, and it was way easier than using a hot glue gun to create an even line, but I will warn you guys that you're gonna need to give your hand a break from squeezing the bottle because it does get tiring after a while. After repeating this pattern around the entire pot, I just left it to dry overnight. The next day I mixed up some paint, and I'm gonna create a light brown color as our base. And of course, I'm going to add in some baking soda just to thicken up the paint and really give this a nice ceramic finish. I did about 2 coats of this color and I let it dry completely. So you can see now that the pot has a really cool texture on it, and next I'm just going to mix some white paint with a little bit of water just to sheer out the color, and then I'm taking a small brush and painting on the same design right on top to emphasize the embossed pattern. This gives the dot and line design a raised look, and when I was doing this I wasn't too worried about making it look perfect, and I really liked the handmade touch it gave. After that's all dried, I'm just flipping over the pot and I'm gluing it to the bottom of the wooden bowl. I'm using Gorilla Hot Glue here, and I'm making sure that I press down firmly for a strong bond. And voila, you now have a gorgeous new pedestal bowl. This piece is so versatile. You can use this pedestal bowl for so many things, including making floral arrangements, creating a little succulent garden, using it as a fruit bowl, or have it in your entryway as storage. And this project was so easy to do with just 2 pieces, putting it together to create a high-end look. I hope you guys enjoyed this project and it sparked some ideas on what designs you can create with this fun technique. What do you guys think about those flips? I am so happy with how each one of them came out. And of course, I can't choose a favorite. I always feel like I say that, but truly it is so hard for me to choose every single time I do one of these videos. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Before signing off, I want to give a huge thank you to Audible for sponsoring today's video. They are just so awesome and I love working with them. I love being a user of Audible. So if you're interested in a 30-day free trial of Audible, make sure that you click on the link down below to check them out. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for new videos every single week. And if you haven't already, make sure that you check out my Instagram page. I post on there every single day and I'm just so happy for your support both on Instagram and on this channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching and tuning in to every video. Stay inspired and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!